So I was getting my mic on backstage. I switched outfits from this morning, and the guy's so nice. And he's like, I like your leather jumper. And I was like, come on, man, respect the cuts. This is pleather, right? So honestly, leaders, I'm so honored. And thank you, Carl, for that really genuine introduction. I don't take any of his words lightly, and I don't take the opportunity to be on this stage in front of you lightly at all. Our days here in Scottsdale are going to go down in BODI history. It's a retreat where we came together and we connected on a deeper level. From the parties to the pool to the sessions, it just felt different because I think we are different. Yes? And our future teams need us to be different. We are so smart and capable, and I am in awe of the power of this room alone. Our vision and our ideas make this company better. We are their best asset. When we win, they win. And in a world that so desperately needs us, I'm here for the winning, and I hope that you are too. Yes. To my friends on the advisory board, I could not have asked to walk this rocky path with anybody better. We spoke up, and as Carl said, we pushed back, we asked hard questions, and we fought for the future of this network together. So here we are, Leadership 2023. And those of you who made the trip, made the leap, made the connections, got yourself to this room, this table, and stayed, I see you, and I honor you, and I appreciate you. I want you to think of me here today talking with you as a peer. I've been in this road of BODI for a long time, 15 years. And although I'm on a stage, I want to pretend that we're two friends at a coffee shop having a conversation. I don't have all the answers for this business, and I'm not here pretending that I do. I'm not here to force sunshine on you. I'm not here to force beliefs on you, and I'm not here to speak on behalf of corporate either. I do have questions myself about the future of the network and how we make this all work. But I have rock solid belief. And I do believe I can offer some perspective today that can help us all. So I have prepared 4 simple pictures with 4 simple stories. And I hope that when you go home, you take one of these lessons with you as you get back into life and school and work and family. And although these stories are personal to me and from my own life, I think you'll see a piece of you in my story because that is how we connect best. I'm going to start nice and light. This first picture is a different kind of before and after. This one isn't about a bloated belly to a 6-pack abs, although I love those too. This is just truly about my closet. And here's the backstory. About 4 years ago, my wife and I moved into a really pretty home on the lake. We love it, our kids love it, it's spacious, it's homey, but there's just one thing that's so off. The master closet was clearly built by a man, right? My guess is that the woman was gone from the job site like one day and came back, and there's this closet for a toddler. So our strategy for so many years has been to just ignore it, stuff it, close our eyes when we walk in, grab stuff, right? We wore random outfits that didn't match for years. We honestly had shoes, clothes, workout clothes, dresses, like puking all over us. I was so inspired to go in my closet that I stopped and I just started using clothes that were in the laundry. My closet looked like a sale rack from TJ Maxx. It was a jumbled mess until a recent Sunday when we just had enough. Erin and I decided to face it. So we took all of our clothes and all of our shoes, and she likes a lot of Nike, right? We took all of our stuff out with kind of an odd aggression. We started ripping things out of this closet. We started sorting things into piles, some to keep, some to give away, to make space. But it wasn't enough, so we took the whole damn closet apart. I'm talking electric drills here, people, and I don't know how to use those. I'm still struggling with a glue gun. But luckily, one by one, my wife took all the shelves, every drawer, everything apart. She disassembled the entire closet, and I was her little worker bee. When that was done, we had 10 times the mess that we started with. Our entire room, floor to ceiling. I was ready to bail, but our only other option was to move in with our kids in their rooms, and that didn't seem right. So faced with that reality, we kept going. By nightfall, with Energize and beach bars alone, we conquered this job. We completely overhauled our closet and the entire bedroom. Our closet itself still looks like that little cupboard from Harry Potter that he hides in, but we now got rid of all the clutter, got rid of 10 bags to donate, and we woke up to a clean slate. So my friends, our old compensation plan could give our dumpster fire of a closet a run for its money. The comp plan was stuffed too tight, ignored for too long. Corporate is paying out far above industry averages, and there's a really wide gap in the earnings. Add to that the perfect storm of outside economic influences and extra pressure on the company to continue. BODI had to make changes. We can all accept that change is a part of life, even though we'd rather just hide under the covers. So corporate got to work on their own, and they hired their own consultants, and they called in the advisory board at the end to help sort through the mess. We had to help cut, remove, and even give things away that we liked, but they didn't fit us anymore. We cleared room in the compensation plan to make room for new. Our voices were heard on behalf of the entire network, and there were changes for the future of the company. And I want that future. I want our longtime leaders to stick around and feel rewarded. And I want our new and emerging leaders to have room to grow real income right here in the world of BODI. Yes? I signed up 15 years ago, and I've led in tough times, and I've led in the heydays. Those are fun. And I don't always feel motivated, but I can honestly stand here and tell you I have never lost my conviction. Because I've seen what this company's done for me, my kids, my life, and the lives of so many others that I don't ever take it for granted, ever. And I'm here for the next chapter of BODI, a fresh start. And I, like you, we're not above the basics of this business. And I, like you, don't want to feel entitled for the work that I used to do. I want to earn it now. I want to earn for what I'm contributing now. Just like I can't stay in shape from those workouts I did a year ago with Lift More, I need to get back to that. We have to show up for the results that we want. So I'm suggesting, as a leadership group, that we show up like we mean it. And in the end, my friends, this lesson shows us that ignoring the problem, walking away from it, or choosing to build somewhere new is not necessarily the answer. Sometimes it's about cleaning up what you already have and deciding to go all in. Let's make it a fresh start. As for my own life, we did not sell the house, we just cleaned up the closet. So I do invite you to laugh out loud at this picture. There we go. I can't believe I found this. It's like my greatest win. I just want to sit on it for a second. Okay, so this is vintage Michael Neiman, of course. And in case you couldn't tell, there's a little BlackBerry in the corner. The year is 2012. And the setting is a super Saturday in my hometown of Alpena, Michigan. I was an emerging leader in the company. I partnered up with some teammates to host our first really big event. We didn't know what we were doing, but we were really excited to lead, and we were having fun. We rented out the local art gallery, and we gathered quite the crowd. We called corporate ahead of time and asked if they would send us someone to make our event feel more legitimate. So they picked Michael. When I got to the airport, in this tiny little airport in Alpena, about an hour before the event, I was so nervous. And when I met Michael, I asked him if he'd be willing to put on a green dress and bunny ears. And before I could finish my sentence, he said, "Hell yes!" No explanation, no hesitation. I was like, oh, little did I know that Michael was a theater major and I was tapping into his love language. So I find this picture. And the lesson that it represented back then, so incredibly relevant that I want to share it with you today, 11 years later. You see, this dress represents one of the main reasons I believe I took off and built a business, built a team, and built a future. I found this dress while I was flipping through an Athleta catalog. At the time, I was a really overwhelmed and buried business owner. I was a working mom of 2 little kids. I had a lot of dreams, but I had a lot of debt. When I saw this dress, I stopped in my tracks, not because pea green looks good on me, because the woman wearing it looked so happy. I wanted that. She was fit and tan and on a paddleboard in the middle of the day, like her middle name was Freedom. She looked peaceful. I wanted that so much, I bought the dang dress. To me, it represented a lifestyle, and that's what I wanted to have. So I started talking about that more and more to other people. I started inviting them to the lifestyle of health, happiness, more choices, being a good role model for our kids, feeling good in our skin, enjoying daily life, more adventure. I started talking about building a future. Signing up for a body business, loving the products, and helping others was the path, but my destination was so much greater. And that is when I really took off 5-star, 10-star, 15-star in a couple of years from that day. I started building a future. This is still so true today that you heard Brendon talking all about this the past 2 days. Inviting beyond the products. They're the ticket into the lifestyle. We've got to tell people that they belong here. And yes, our products are amazing, but the community and the coach, but now partner opportunity is what really sets us apart. I was talking to my new coach partner, Lexi, the other day. We were talking as much about her dream lifestyle as we were about the products. Sure, we touched on the shakes and the workouts, but she told me she wants to run up the stairs without being out of breath. She wants to have her 4 little kids, see her as a healthy mom, and not see fitness as punishment as she used to. And she wants to eventually pay down her car and college debt. I can see this for her, and I can hold this vision for her because I'm willing to have a conversation beyond the products. That's what we need people to talk to us about in order to help them take action. Listen, as for those bunny ears, if we can just please get those up there again. As for those bunny ears, get this. Those bunny ears represented the Energizer Bunny. And I told that room back in Alpena 11 years ago that their energy was their superpower. And Brendon was here this weekend saying it's the number 2 habit of a high performer. We control the energy we bring into every Zoom and every room, and people decide if they're going to work with us often more based on our energy than our words. Case in point, the other day, I called my friend Erin Hopkins at the 11th hour and said, can you jump on a leader call? It's in 7 minutes. Hell yes, girl, I will. She got on, and just her superpower is her energy. By the end of the Zoom, I was about to submit my cancellation, sit out 3 months, and rejoin. So I hope that this old lesson from 11 years ago sparks something in you. That lit a spark in me 11 years ago to invite to the lifestyle and to be an Energizer bunny, and that is still so true today. And in case you're wondering, that really pretty pea green dress survived the closet growth plan. Well, I know you love your kids and your family as much as I do mine. And it's fun to hear about each other's adventures. So this is my son, Colt, and he is 18. And he's at the Marion Military Institute. He's a cadet. He's at a 1-year military academy to prepare him for the United States Coast Guard Academy and a career to follow. It's really rigorous. Alicia can tell you it's not for the faint of heart. It's for people willing to get up at 5 in the morning to run stadium stairs, do push-ups, pull-ups, run and march at all hours of the day and night in 110-degree heat. It's for people willing to take rigorous coursework and then clean the toilets of the barracks before they go to the mess hall. It's about people seeing something so much greater than themselves. But his journey here was not a direct path. He failed forward, and that's what I want to talk to you about. Colt decided to apply to military academies as he entered his senior year in high school because someone noticed him. A local judge had been watching him work out at our gym day in and day out. Colt went from an out-of-shape bench player at 14 years old to a senior athlete of the year, MVP, and captain of every team his senior year. This judge had witnessed his transformation, and he approached Colt that day. And he said, "Have you ever considered a military academy after school graduation?" And he said he had not. His entire path was to play football in college. He got 6 scholarship offers for football, and he turned them all down. Something that judge said sparked something in him. He started seeing that maybe he was cut from a different cloth, that he was a kid that wanted to journal and meditate and listen to audiobooks. He tracked his food. He skipped the parties. He got up to run wind sprints in the morning. He stretched. He spent so much time working on these applications, collecting references, and studying for the SAT. He prepped for the rigorous fitness test, and he gave himself the best chance possible. But on that day in April 2023, when the decisions came in at 11 o'clock at night, Colt got rejected. He was told he didn't have enough high school STEM classes, and he missed the cut. Only 300 cadets are accepted, and he was not one. As a mom, it was literally heartbreaking to watch this. Here is a kid that I'm telling you sacrificed so much to achieve this dream. He went into his room and he pulled out a journal and he started to write. And I sat on the couch and waited for him. And an hour later, he came out. He brought his journal with him. He sat down on the couch and said, "Mom, can I read some of this to you so you understand how I'm feeling?" And he talked about all the things he skipped and missed out on so he could do all the things right and how frustrated he was. And I cried. And when he was done reading it, he shut the journal and said, "Mom, that's it. It's time for me to move on. No more pity party. Time for a plan B." The next morning, Colt got up. He researched military prep schools, military academies. He applied, he got accepted, he got a full scholarship. Now, I share this with you as an example of taking radical ownership for your life, for your dreams, for not blaming others or feeling wronged or getting so angry at this world, not wondering why you, and not spiraling into being just a hardened overhuman. Colt felt that pain of rejection so hard, but he didn't sit in it. He got up and took action. That's why I'm in this picture here with him just a few days ago. It was Parents' Weekend in Alabama, and I can't tell you the pride I felt watching him march across the field in this military uniform. Throughout the whole weekend, I saw all of his fellow cadets and all the commanders and higher-ups greeted him with warm smiles and praise. They couldn't wait to talk to me about him. He's making a name for himself there. He even started the first ever Iron Tigers weightlifting club because he wanted to help his fellow cadets pass their fitness test. Nothing has been handed to that kid. Thank you. Thank you. Nothing's been handed to him. Nothing's been easy, and he is anything but entitled. Some things just feel unfair or hard in life, but he never complains, and I've learned so much from watching him. So I'm asking us, not you, us, when this business gets hard, when people step back, when people turn bitter, I think of Colt. When these comp plan changes came, unforeseen cuts in my life, unforeseen changes, coming down on us in a few months, they're hard to swallow. I think about Colt. I think about taking radical ownership for who we are and how we show up in this world. So my friends, let's agree to take radical ownership of our own leadership, and let's set a better example for our teams, because I believe that negativity is poison, and I believe that positive people build the future. John Gordon wrote it, and I believe it. So yes, we can listen and offer empathy when people are struggling, maybe even us, but at the end of the day, you gotta stand up and brush yourself off and go all in, take radical ownership, because Colt has shown us what's possible. Bringing it home heavier. Okay, in all honesty, this picture is really hard for me to look at, but I'm putting this out here because I think the lesson will sink deep with you. John Gordon writes that we are not positive because life is easy. We are positive because life is hard. And I can tell you to my very core that this is true. In August, just about 2 months ago, I was visiting my ailing dad, Doug, in Madison. Now he's dying of 2 things: heartbreak and prostate cancer. He literally counts the hours and prays 4 times a day to see my mom again in heaven. We went for some walks. We created a photo album of 100 pictures that I brought with me of my mom. He told stories and I listened, and the mood was heavy, but listen, it was also light, because I sat with him where he wanted to be, talking about heaven. We wrote his obituary together. We talked about his wishes for the service. I felt really grateful to have a dad that was willing to have those kinds of hard conversations with me. Our time together had been so special. That night before I left, we were sitting at the kitchen table, finishing up the last few pages of the photo album. And he said something that changed really my whole life. Something that just really rocked my world. He told me that before my mom passed away at Christmas, that my brother, an attorney, and his friend, an attorney, helped her disinherit me from the family for marrying my wife. They told my mom that in marrying her, I chose a different family, and so I was no longer a part of theirs. My dad told me that when this was all happening and all of the meetings were happening and I was getting written out, that he was so deeply struggling with his own cancer, and they said my brother just took over. They disinherited me, removed me legally from their lives. They took all of my mom's possessions, and they left it to him to have to tell me. And he looked at me crying and said, I wasn't supposed to be the one to tell you. They put him in a terrible position, and I felt just as bad for him as I was so washed over with my own anger and sadness. There's more to that story, and I will tell that on a different stage someday, and that story will be a path to help others. But I share this with you for a specific reason today. When I got home from Madison, I was broken. I was lost. I was crying. The days were just blurring. I was, for the first time in my whole life, just really worried about myself. Disinheritance is an ugly beast. And if you're not sure, just Google it. Everything tells you, warns you not to do it, because the pain you leave behind lasts forever. Now, I know I'm still a mom, I'm still a sister, I know I'm still a daughter, even though that paperwork says otherwise. And I sat in that pain, not as a victim, as they like to say, but as a human being. A few days later, I was invited to an important advisory board meeting. I hadn't worked in days. I was sitting at the beach, really just by myself, crying, going to see a therapist. I didn't want to get on that call. But I got on with swollen eyes, a pit in my stomach. And I heard from Michael about the compensation cuts. And it was no growth game plan that day. Brendon was on that call. I don't really remember much of what he said. I know he was talking about growth day, but I didn't hear it. It was so much for me to take in, I felt like I was going to implode. When I hung up that Zoom, something in me just sparked. And that night, instead of crawling deeper into this hole of depression, I started to crawl out of it. And I thought, well, maybe the network needs something right now. Maybe this compensation plan is actually a way out of my own sadness. Because I've always believed that when we're taken from, we can choose to give. So I've shown up hard, as have my peers, for these advisory board meetings after meetings after meetings, and help with some of the writing and communication to go out to the network, because I know that the universe offered me a clear opportunity to serve. And it has helped me tremendously. And I urge you to take this challenge on in a similar spirit, even though I know that my struggle is unique. I have poured into this new challenge, this new chapter, this future of BODI, because service is a solution and there is healing in helping. So as for that picture on the right, now that's a picture that makes me smile. These are women in my life, as well as women on the team, as well as women in this room that make me better. In this company, I have made lifelong friends. And I'm asking you to lean in. Lean in and not to be a lone ranger. Use this challenge as a reason to forge new connections. Use this challenge as a way to find your tribe. Leaders, I am here alongside you, asking you, along with me, to be a messenger for good, because people need to hear our positive voices. And so I'm asking us to just get loud. For some people, it's going to take a shift. You have to let go of what was, and you have to join us in thinking about what will be, where are we going, what are we building. And as we travel this path in BODI, I always envision that I'm wearing this proverbial backpack, and I need to keep the damn thing light. You got to travel light on this journey. That means stop being angry at who left, who stepped back, who wronged you. Stop carrying around resentment or how you would have done it differently than the cab or corporate or another team or another leader. Your feelings might be valid, but they no longer serve you or me. So let's do this. Let's show up like we mean it. Let's show up calm and confident and ready to lead, because people need us, so let's step in the ring. Thank you.